So for the past months, we changed our strategy of kind of like a lot of strategies in the company. But the biggest change in the company is in the last month, we started to do one thing, which is proven to be the right thing, which is
Hello, and thank you for joining our Fireside Chats with founders at the European Cardano community. I am Marcus, one of the core team members, and if you like what we are doing, please consider supporting our individual projects. You will find the links to our guests and our projects below the video. Please give us a thumbs up, follow us by hitting the bell icon, and let's enjoy this session.
Hello. Welcome everybody for another appointment to our Fireside Chat, European Cardano Community Fireside Chat in this very warm, sunny environment. We have a lot of nice guests with us, many friends that are often taking us company, like Eduardo, thanks for being here, and fantastic guests all around. Darlington, welcome here. It's nice to have you in our Fireside Chat. I would say today I'm not in control of the slides because of technical issues, but I think we can proceed further with the current mantra that we have. Is a copy of the Global Town Hall mantra, but we make it more funnier and more messy by translating every line in a different language. So everybody in the room is invited to read a line. Just pick one randomly and remove the mute from your Zoom and just go with the flow. I will start because I'm the only Italian in the room. So benvenuti all'esperimento.
Les choses peuvent. Got it right now. You know, if you don't say anything, Eduardo is doing the whole rest. We have that one. We had that one.
Oh.
And it was amazing. Do you want to do the Portuguese part, Eduardo?
In Portuguese, I don't see any word in the Portuguese. I see in Spanish.
Oh, English, yeah, that's what I meant.
That's
Italian, benvenuto al esperimento.
Yes, I already say that. Somebody start with the quebra part.
We wrote the Portuguese part in Spanish. Did you know that? It's quebra.
I know Spanish because I lived in Madrid and Mexico, and a little Italian because I lived in Bergamo.
Okay, cool.
I do quebra, and you do the German one.
Oh man, den documentation. This is the sound we listen when we listen to German people. It's very strong.
And we always think as Germans our language is beautiful.
Oh, it is actually. Maybe a little intimidating, but it's beautiful.
Feeling the documentation. So that's how I would say it.
Okay. Differ greatly between interaction, disorienting, overload, and inspire. Our goal is to provide a Greek words
as far as
and lively environment for you to explore the highest potential de la colaboración humana.
That was amazing. The best so far, probably. Thank you.
Thank you, Eduardo. You're the best backup we could ever have.
Yes, not only that.
All the time I try to make funny and have a good sense of humor.
And it's perfect.
You do. Fantastic. Thank you again.
We appreciate it. So, that's it?
Yes. So, everybody knows that this is Marcus' part. So, he wrote it. He is condemned to read it every time, forever and ever. But it's a beautiful slide. So
I will come back on Christmas time with the angles. Keep your notes up to date. We're waiting to hard fork. As I heard today, it's 25% of all nodes only have been upgraded, so it's a little bit of way to go. So do that. If you're not a Mithril signer, or if you're a Mithril signer, there is a new update. Download it. If you need help with that, there's a
coin cashew update guide. Then Niels from Hazelpool, he's been working on a communication tool. If you want, as a node operator, communicate with your delegators, then it's ryd.io. Then this is a possibility to communicate with them, test it out. It's currently for free. Try to study or learn something new every day. That's what we're here for. I think we learned a lot today. Support and connect with community members for synergies and goals. Do the reach out for us if you want to. That's going to be really helpful. Be inclusive, friendly, and wise with words, even in anger. And share information without destroying dreams, people, or the reputation. Welcome to Cardano. Welcome to the European Cardano community. Thank you for being here, guys. Looking forward to this.
So yes, this is a very important part. We, as a main part of our goals, is to provide different Twitter spaces in several languages in the European Union. We are very strong with the Greek community, having one every first Monday of the month. We have had a lot of Italian space. Now everybody in vacation, but we plan to get back as soon as this month. We also spaces in Spain, in many different languages. We wanted one in German. So if anybody of you would like to host a space in your language, please get in touch with us and we'll make it happen with great pleasure. Thank you. Apart of that, we also host country hubs that are in live person events. So for that, it's the same. If you want to host a country hub in your country, get in touch with us and that will make happen. We also provide some merchandising for your guests.
Perfect. And it doesn't matter the topic that you have, as long as you are willing to get out there on Twitter, and as long as you have a language that is being spoken in the European Union, and that might be even Chinese, then you're welcome to host one of these workshops. So feel invited. We try to be as inclusive as possible. And we're still hoping for Boas from the Goma community to join us and have a French workshop so that we learn a little bit more about not workshop space, that we learn about how it's been working in Africa and actually building dApps for the African community. But if you can't wait for it, and if you need an English version of these, then I highly encourage you to jump into Cardano over Coffee, where you find Darlington from Lighter Nation. He's very active in there as well. He doesn't listen at the moment, that's why I can say that. So he's very active there as well, and he has the point on the pulse when it comes to Africa in Cardano. And yeah, Cardano over Coffee every day, 16:30 CET. Join the guys there. Awesome channel. I love it. Learn to love it. And I'm going there much more often now than I should, probably. So with that, our guests are a few of them.
Drum rolls.
We have three great guests. Keystone Wallet. Then we have, that's the slides. Then we have Digital Gold Ecosystem. And we have Littlefish Foundation. And the format is going to be present yourself in a very quick and short matter, like 5 minutes if you can, maximum. So then we hop on to the next guest, giving a little bit of an overview of their ecosystem, and then the next one, and then we immerse into the conversation.
Yes.
And if you have, that would be wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Share a little tip for the other founders, what it is for you, having found a company, leading a company, what tips can you share? And if you like to, we run a little post thread on our Twitter or X handle and drop it in the comments there, and we will repeat it every now and then. So with that, I would say, Li Jin, take it away.
Okay. Can you stop the screen sharing so I can my video can show in a larger form? Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. My name is Li Xin. I'm the CEO of Keystone Hardware Wallet. Maybe you've never heard of us before, but actually we've been in the space for over 6 years. And right now we are setting our third generation of hardware wallet. And today I want to show you our 3 generations of hardware wallet, so you know where it comes from and what the product designed for. So actually, this one is super bulky hardware wallet. Maybe you cannot tell whether this is a hardware wallet. This is our first generation. And actually, this is the metal case of the hardware wallet. And you open the door and you can get the hardware wallet and its battery. We had this design because our company, my team, our company, our business was incubated by one of the biggest Bitcoin miners here in China. So the very first generation of product we were designing for the miners. That's why, because those miners, they are super paranoid. A funny fact is that at that time, if we want to sell them one hardware wallet, they need to have a dinner with me to ask me where I come from, what's my background, what's the team's background. They are super paranoid. And second, they work in the most isolated places around the world for the cheapest electricity for Bitcoin mining. That's why we have this design. You can see this scratch on this metal case because I drove my car over this device to make sure that this product is robust enough for the paranoid Bitcoin miners. This is our very first generation. And this is our second generation of hardware wallet. You can see almost the same size, but without the metal case. So with this, we go to the Bitcoin maximalist community in the United States. Because we come from the Bitcoin community, so the second generation we were setting for the Bitcoin maximalists in the United States. And these people are also super paranoid. And we brought this product to these people, and also we help Bitcoin community to write some BIP, Bitcoin improvement proposal for Bitcoin multi-sig security, things like that. And also, this is the current generation we're setting. For the very first 2 generations, we were mostly focused on Bitcoin. But for the third generation, we started to explore Web3. And you can also see this device is a co-branded version with the Little Fox with MetaMask, because we are one of the official hardware wallet partner of MetaMask. So after MetaMask, we collaborate the collaboration for Ethereum and EVM community. Then we go to Solana, and now we're in Cardano. So I think most of you must have heard of Ledger. So between Keystone and Ledger, there are several differences between these 2 products. The very first one, sorry, where's my Ledger? The very first one is, you can see from the form factor wise, Keystone comes with a 4-inch touchscreen, because we believe that user experience is part of the security, because you have to make the product easy to use to make people less likely to make mistakes, to lose their crypto assets. That's the first thing. And also for this hardware wallet, we have key features like, for Keystone, you can hold 3 recovery phrases in one device. You can access them with different PIN code. So one Keystone is 3 ledger. You can hold 3 wallets in one device. And also we have other usability features, like we have a fingerprint sensor here, so you can authenticate your transaction with your fingerprint. And security-wise, we also, compare Ledger with Trezor. Ledger has a secure element device. We have 3 secure elements from 3 different vendors, which means that the hacker needs to hack all of them to hack this device. Also, we have other security features, like we have a self-destruct mechanism, because if a hacker stole your device and tried to falsely open the device to hack the circuit board, the product will detect the assembling and erase all the recovery phrase and private keys in this device. So overall, by the way, we are quickly following the recent hard fork of Cardano. We have supported signed data, and also we support Conway and voting because of the hard fork. And also we are collaborating. By the way, you can use Keystone with Eternal and the Typhoon wallet right now. We are integrating with Begin wallet, with Vesper. We are talking to Uroi and the Lace wallet. So basically, we wanted to make this device compatible with all the top software wallet in the Cardano ecosystem. Yeah, so that's my introduction. If you have any questions, please shoot. Thank you.
Absolutely. But before we do that, we jump to the next project. I hope you have written down the questions. I have my questions, and I can say that I heard of you a little bit before that already. Next one would be, need to share. This is usually Davide is doing this, and now I'm completely.
Sorry about that, but yeah, my Zoom doesn't work very well on my Linux installation.
I think I got it. So this is how the device looks like when it's open, correct? And here you go with digital gold.
All right.
Hey,
good afternoon, everyone. I'm Reggie Baker. I'm the CEO of Digital Gold, and with us is Dale, the CEO. Dale, do you want to say hello real quick?
Hello, nice to meet you, and appreciate you having us on the Fireside Chat. Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, no, it's a real honor for us to talk to you about our project, and so we want to thank you for that. So I understand we have 5 minutes, so I'll keep my comments really, really short so we can kind of really answer as many questions as we can. So Digital Gold has been around for about 2 years now, and Dale and I met very much from the very beginning of the project. He actually stood it up, and then I joined him a couple of months later. And as we were getting to know each other, we started talking about some of the things that we were doing when it came to crypto. And it turned out that we had a lot of things in common. We had worked our way through several crypto blockchains and then finally settled on Cardano as being the best. And so that's where we landed. But the other thing that we talked about was, man, just how tough it was to onboard into these different blockchains. Cardano was the easiest, but man, everywhere we went, from getting the initial tokens on a centralized exchange to going down to a decentralized exchange and then the wallets and then the staking and the management of that, it was all kind of tough. And so we thought that, it was important that if crypto was going to grow as it is, that whole process needs to be simplified. And so that's where, this project found its, cause to be. And so, one of the things that we realized is that, especially for Cardano, that if we want to expand, we need to make the onboarding process and the management of crypto assets easier. And so that's what we're after. And so in line with that, our whole project is really about developing innovative products and services to from everything from social media integration to the DeFi to gaming to staking, into a easy to use platform, a single platform where a person goes and is able to perform all of those actions in a safe environment. And so with that, we have started to bring together different technologies into our project, and we're slowly bringing them online. And so, but we've started with the development with a 3-token ecosystem, and we'll talk a little bit more about that, and hopefully we'll get more questions about that during the question and answer series. Virtual mining system, where essentially all you need to do is hold your tokens and one of our NFTs in your wallet, and then you're able to start to gain rewards. We also talked about how we could try to make the blockchain experience more exciting by just taking away from staking and mining to having these other aspects within our ecosystem that allows a person to gain rewards, whether it's their NFT being placed in a vault or a farm, or for us, a retro arcade that we're developing. And then lastly, there were other services and applications that we like to bring online because, even from when we started 2 years ago, there's been a lot of innovation in the blockchain community, from secure messaging. And so we think it's important to bring all these emerging tech applications capability into this singular place where a person can go in a safe environment and be able to perform all of these actions in a way that is easy and safe. So what I like to talk about next is our NFTs, and I think that's one of the reasons why you guys reached out to us, is that because of our virtual mining process, which is essentially if a person has a number of our tokens in their wallet plus one of our NFTs, they automatically start to gain rewards, which they're able to reap every 5 days for a digital silver. And if they have enough digital silver, digital gold in one of our NFTs in their wallet, they're able to mine the digital diamond token from us every quarter. But so the NFTs, our NFTs play a vital role in that virtual mining process. And so, for us, they're actually the key to mining. And so we put a lot of thought and care into the design of our NFTs. We want them to be a beautiful piece of art, but they also have a life-changing utility when it comes to being able to generate rewards. So they are something that we're on our third series now. We will have future series. And so, but the key to the NFT program is that you have one of them in your wallet, and for at least a minimum of 15 years, you'll be able to use that NFT to generate rewards for yourself, once again, every 5 days for digital silver, or every quarter with digital diamond. And then lastly, I'll just quickly talk about the future of digital gold. And so, we're based in the US, and as you know, the regulatory environment has been shifting over the 2 years that we've been around in a good direction. So that's good news. And so we expect that even in the next couple of years, there'll be things that we'll be able to do with digital assets that will allow us to bring additional capability online into our project, especially in a DeFi area. And so, once again, our whole goal as a project is really just to try to make the blockchain experience easy to get into and then easy to manage once you're in. And that is digital gold. And so with that, I'll turn it over to Dale real quick if he wants to add anything that I might have missed.
No, thanks, Reggie. I think you did great on that. Now that I think you covered everything pretty well. The only thing I'd like to say is, we originally started this project as just an energy efficient replacement for Bitcoin on the Cardano blockchain. Since then, it's grown into so much more. There's things that we want to do now that the regulatory environment we're just unsure of. So we've been a little apprehensive. Things are starting to ease up, and we're starting to now work towards the little bit more the original direction we wanted to go. Our NFTs also get you into our Goldmine arcade. We currently have 5 games on there right now for free, but there's 30 games in development. They will all pay digital silver to any NFT holder once a day for playing those games. And I think other than that, all we're trying to do is make crypto easy, fun, approachable for the least common denominator. So not everybody's a techie. And we think Cardano is the best blockchain out there, hands down. We're fully supportive of Cardano, and we feel that we're in the right place. That's all we got.
Cool. Thank you. So you all have the chance to talk to each other in a few minutes. I mean, we just want to make sure that we're not extending the space for one project, having like all the space, and then everybody is going to be missing the other 2 projects. So with that, Jem and Littlefish, take it away.
Hey, Marcus. Thank you.
The
Uh,
connector between both.
yeah. My name is Cem. I live in Turkey, beautiful city, Izmir. It's about 40 degrees Celsius right now, but it's okay. Originally, I'm an electrical and electronics engineer for more than 25 years, and I have a master's degree. In 2004, I decided to have a data center in Turkey with the high security options, and I started learning e-payment systems and the security of the e-payment systems for more than 20 years. And about 5 years ago, I was asking myself, there should be another economy, yet we don't have. And we have to remove the intermediaries from our commerce. And I decided to have some investigation, and I found Cardano about 4 years ago. And since fund date, we are in the ecosystem. And what is Littlefish? Littlefish, we are all Littlefish, and we have whales also. So I saw what Littlefish can do in GameStop incident. You all know, when we get together and we decide to do the same thing at the same time, we can have impact. And I believe this is the only chance that we have left. Soon we will see it. So right now, what are we doing? We started to investigate the ecosystem, and we have now regulations, and we decided to investigate the regulations all over the world. And you can get our resources from tools.littlefish.foundation, and you can check our investigations about law. After Fund 8 and Fund 9, we decided to have an open source system for everybody that if they know Node.js or Next.js, they can get into the system easily. So we decided to create a boilerplate. And if you want, I can show you the boilerplate, how you can use it, and how you can start your NFT marketplace in seconds. We also have the links in the chat. Yeah, that's all from me right now.
Cool. There's one catch though. We cannot do the presentations. We skip.
Yeah, we don't have presentations, but if you want, I can show you how you can install the boilerplate to your system in a few minutes.
What we could do is, if you have a presentation, if you want to create one for that, a little bit of a tutorial video, we can put that on our channel too.
Yeah,
and then we from the video here.
Okay,
that makes it easier, so we don't break the conversation.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Very cool. Thank you. So I'll start with I'll start rolling back. I start from the back. Jem, the first thing, what is your tip for founders?
I love Naval so much. Maybe you follow him on Twitter. Please, if you have an idea, please don't ask everyone. That's my tip. Yeah. If you have an idea and you believe it, don't ask everyone.
Not you in the meaning of like
yeah. You have your project, just realize that, turn into action, and see the outcomes, but don't ask anyone their opinions. You will get frustrated, and your energy will decrease eventually. Just believe in yourself and do the thing you do all the time.
I immediately thought of Li Jin, right? Because going with Keystone to the Bitcoin maxis and selling them, hey, here's a hardware wallet. Let's replace Ledger.
Yeah.
It must have been a hard one.
Yeah.
And that's actually how I heard first time of Keystone, was when Ledger was infamously publicizing the backdoor issue, and that's when I first time heard about Keystone.
Yes.
So
Okay,
I
cool.
thought you were based in Switzerland.
No, I based in China, but I travel based in Hong Kong for some time, based in China, based in Singapore for some time. Right now my family is in Shanghai. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Um, if you have so many so first of all, what is your take on your tip for founders? And
For
after
me,
that, yeah, and after that, I would love to know, um, is Cardano Bitcoin 2.0? I mean, you're in touch with so many blockchains. I mean,
yeah.
implementation is one thing. Um, is it for
Mhm.
you Bitcoin 2.0, or do you say it's something completely different?
Okay. To answer the first question, actually, this is like my biggest takeaway for the past month. So for the past month, we changed our strategy of kind of like a lot of strategies in the company. But the biggest change in the company is in the last month, we started to do one thing, which is proven to be the right thing, which is building public. And this means that we engage with the community about what we're developing, what we're going to develop, and what do you guys need from us. And that's also part of the reason that why I'm invited here, because we do this building public thing. So more and more people in the Cardano community knew us, and they give us like feature requests, and then we do that. For example, the sign data, the Conway, and right now we're even talking to Cardano CLI team, which is the commander line tool because a pain point of them is that they usually run the CLI tool remotely on a remote server to run the SPO stuff. And you cannot use the US connection for a ledger to sign the transaction for a remote server. And we use QR code. So we do this building public. So people will come to me, ask us to build some feature for them, things like that. I think that's the biggest change of the last month of Keystone. And because of this, we're seeing a big like sales growth in the last month. Compared to the previous months, it's like 40% growth. So I think the biggest suggestion, which is very tactic, not very like strategic level, but very tactical level. So I suggest that the founders to do your project, to build your project in public. I think this is very important. And today I also learned some new things about digital gold and things like that. I think it's super cool. And I'm willing to join more and more podcasts or AMA or fireside chat like this. Yeah, I'm super excited for that.
And
And for the second question is Cardano, please.
how do you then differentiate between don't ask anyone about building your project while building in public?
Mm-hmm.
How do you handle that? I mean, sometimes there might be
Oh, that's a
like
great idea. That's a great question. Yeah, that's a great
sometimes there
question.
might be
I think,
questions. Yeah, sorry.
yeah, I think from day one, if I want to say we want to beat Ledger, everyone will say, no, it's impossible. It's impossible to do that. But if you dive into that, you will see there are tons of questions about Ledger. They are closed source, and they do things like recovery, first upload to the server, things like that. So they're doing tons of things in the wrong way. So I'm not asking anyone to criticize my idea of beating Ledger. So I insist on that. But if you decide to make a product way better than Ledger, you have to talk to the community, ask for their feedbacks, and ask for what they want, things like that. So I think it's not like two things. I think it's kind of things that you need to mix them together. So on the strategic level, you don't ask others, you trust your gut feeling on the strategic level. But on the tactics level, you ask the users what do they want and how to better polish the product, things like that. I think that's the right way to do this.
Perfect. What a great answer. By the way, guys, if you open your mic freely, if you have questions, just jump into this. We are totally impolite about who is being first. We want to have this like a lively conversation. And now probably one of the interesting other ones with Cardano Bitcoin 2.0. Don't feel pressured. We can cut it out if you want to. That the Cardano maxes are not going to jump onto your back, but no, feel free. We are totally easy here.
Yeah, I think Cardano is quite promising. Actually, I first time I heard of Cardano, it was like 2017. I heard of Cardano, and I think it's super cool for Cardano, and also the structure. Sorry, I'm not an expert for Cardano, but what I can say from let's put it this way. So for Cardano, maybe I can share more why we are trying to tackle Cardano. I think one of the key reasons is that in the Cardano ecosystem, there are a lot of hardcore developers. And why we wanted to tackle a community with a lot of hardcore developers, because we build a product like a better product than Ledger. And those developers, they are the people who can easily understand why Keystone is better than Ledger. If you ask a normal person, they will judge Ledger is better than Keystone because Ledger has a bigger brand, their branding is better. But if a hardcore developer, they will get into our GitHub, check out our code. For example, if you go to our GitHub, you will see that most of our code are written in Rust. So this is like a astonishing thing between the developers. I think during our research, Cardano is promising, and we see a lot of hardcore developers, and all those people, they are always shout out about security, about using hardware wallet. That's the reason we are here. So we see from our perspective, not only Cardano, but also other blockchain, they have a bright future. But for some blockchain, which are very popular right now, for example, Tong is very popular right now, but Tong is closely attached to Telegram, and there are a lot of very mass users for Tong. So that's not a good market for hardware wallet. So we're choosing the right playground for hardware wallet, the right place for us to interact with the community, things like that. So that's why we're here. So from this perspective, I think because Cardano has a lot of hardcore developers, so I think Cardano must have a bright future. But whether it's with Bitcoin 2.0, maybe it's Bitcoin 3.0, I don't know. But I think Cardano is quite promising from a hardware developer perspective.
So
and let's be honest. And let's be honest, Ledger's not invincible. MySpace was once number one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
just
how does the new Ledger? Oh, was someone talking?
Thanks, Reggie here from Digital Gold. Hey, just addressing that issue, about what advice will we give to founders? This space is so young, and there is so much innovation that has to go on. And so, we should not feel that, all the answers have been provided. And so, do have an idea. I kind of echo what the first gentleman said, that, if you have inspiration and innovation, bring it to the forefront and don't worry about the resources. Because I think a lot of people become overwhelmed by what they may consider to be the lack of resources. Start working on your idea, get it out there, start talking to people. And you may have to start small, like we did. We're essentially a mom and pop shop. But over time, if you have a good idea, you build it, they will come. And so that has to be the key to innovation. And so I encourage founders to kind of follow that path. And then, I really don't focus so much on Bitcoin versus Cardano. But what I can tell you, and this is very simple for me because I'm a simple guy, that, Bitcoin is a wonderful asset. It's led the way in a lot of ways. And so I will never badmouth Bitcoin, but it's an asset. Cardano is a system. And it is a system of system. And you have different people coming online with these wonderful ideas, just making this system very relevant to the space today. And Bitcoin as an asset will always be an asset, but Cardano, I think, has already surpassed it as far as being a system. And so I think that's why, to me, Cardano is the place that we want to be. Thanks.
That is a great statement. I never heard it like that, to be honest. I don't know if it's been said before like that, but that is a good one. That is a really good one. Asset versus system. Really cool.
That's why I love this guy.
Really cool.
If I had to make one to give some advice, I guess my advice would be just don't give up. There's so much that's going to change. Your idea, I guess, don't give up and don't be so rigid that you can't change with the environment, I guess would be my advice. There's going to have to be a lot of flexibility. You may not be the same project 5 years down the road, and that's okay because you're going to want to change with the times. So that's what I got there.
I never think you're the smartest in the room, I guess. I think that's
well, I know I'm not, so
that's what I always see when I join a server. I think, okay, cool. And then I better shut up. Then
you know what we're big on now. We're trying to really network with the community more because there's so many smart people in this ecosystem completely that it'd be a shame to just shut yourself off to everybody else because there is so much knowledge. That's one of the things that we love about Cardano. We think all the knowledge is here. We think it was built right, and it's only a matter of time. It is inevitable that Cardano will rise to the top eventually. So not that I'm a Cardano maxi or anything like that, but
I would be interested. I mean, Eduardo, you had a question. Has it been answered? Or?
No, but for me, and with my background, the first advice I can give a founder is looking first if you have a market. The first thing we need to see, you have a market for your idea, and after, what potential value the customers can give you for your idea, for your product, for your service, or for the resolution of a problem. The first things, it's to see you have a market. In certain way, I agree with the second, the person that don't talk with the many people. I understand that because when I talk about my idea, everybody say you are crazy. And when the people say me, you are crazy, I know I go in the right direction. It's true. It's true. Because the first instinct of the human being, it's, hi, it's new, go away because it's new, and okay. And the people only believe when see the product, the final product. And in certain way, we need to identify the persons there are open mind and closed mind. Don't lose your time with closed mind. Try to see the people with open mind. How to detect open mind? It's the people who begin to make questions about your idea. Your idea is this. Okay, how will you work? How will you try to make this? This is people begin to show they are open mind. If the answer is, you are crazy, okay, it's a closed mind.
It's like a little bit like when you walk into real estate and you start in your head furnituring the room, then the realtor knows, okay, this is going to be a sale. Yeah. see what you're saying, and that's wonderful. I have a question though, and maybe I can bring that back. With Keystone Wallet, do we have the option to have CNFTs there, Cardano native tokens? And when I look at digital gold ecosystem, by the way, the Akkad is really cool. I was yesterday on the page and I played the rocket game. And the rewards, will they be sent automatically? Because if I have to claim them, it's going to be a tax event. Will they be sent? Techpool is having a little system on a reimbursement system for their stakeholders, and they send the rewards instead of you having to claim them, which is quite convenient for the delegator at first. And the second thing is you don't, as a delegator, have a tax event, because at least in Europe it is like that. If you don't do anything to reap the rewards, it's basically like almost free, right? So if you do something to claim the rewards actively, you have to pay taxes on it on top of it as a private person. If you're a legal entity, it's totally different, but as a private person, that's a good thing. And with that, having Keystone on it, do you display the apps, or how does this work with that? Because that might be an interesting question for Gem as well, with the NFT login optionalities. So that was a big one. Now you go.
Okay. Thank you for the question. So basically for Keystone, right, internally we call Keystone a signer, which means that Keystone is a device that keeps your private key or keep your recovery phrase and sign transactions. Keystone is not responsible for like showing your NFT on the device, things like that. Keystone is keeping your private key and sign the transaction. And Keystone can support all the different formats of transaction on Cardano ecosystem. Even when you are voting, actually you are signing a transaction, but the transaction is a voting transaction. So Keystone support voting means that Keystone can sign a voting transaction. Keystone support NFT means that it's not meaning that you can see the NFT on Keystone device on the big screen, but it means that you can use Keystone to sign a transaction type, which is transferring your NFT or listing your NFT or buy the NFT, things like that. So that's how Keystone works with different blockchains. Basically, we support the different transaction types of each blockchain. So that's the answer.
Okay.
And thanks. In reference to our gaming arcade, we'll definitely go ask that question of our lawyer. That is a great question. But as you know, we're a worldwide entity, and so I think each jurisdiction is going to have different tax rules and laws. But to answer the question about the functionality, is that yes, you'll have to go in and actually claim the rewards, because you'll be able to play the game multiple times, and you may, you'll probably want to claim the highest reward amount that you obtain. But that is a great question. We'll ask our lawyers, see what can be done. But as of right now in the U.S., any receiving of assets is most likely, in most cases, a taxable event. Whether it's an airdrop or rewards, things of that nature.
Is it? Oh, Jam, do you want to answer first, or?
Yeah, regarding to our investigation with the NFTs, I sent a link to the chat so you can have the detailed information from our lawyers. And yes, it depends on the region that you start your company. But it also depends on what you are selling, or if you are selling a service, or if you are exchanging goods between two individuals, then you don't have to pay tax. So Littlefish comes into place right in this situation. Also in our boilerplate example, we have sign them with the NFTs. Why did we do it? Because we want the real world systems to use the NFT system for registration, for example, in restaurants or some parties. So you can show your NFT and you can pass through this gates, I can say. So you have to integrate your accounting to the system, and we didn't have any things regarding taxations in our system. But there are lots of doubts about tax inflations and other things right now. So if we want to pay the tax, it should be transparent as we have in Cardano ecosystem, right? We have to push for our rights. We have the rights to see where our taxes are going. In the bureaucracy, for example, in United Nations, the 70% of all the funds go to the bureaucracy. So you don't know what they are doing with the funds. The 30% is going to somewhere. Is it okay? No. So we have to talk everything, Marcus. The conventional systems, transparency. We built in Cardano. Why? Because it aligns with our philosophy. We want to be transparent. We want to be open source. And what we will do together, we will push the lawmakers and the people in charge to apply our paradigm here, like open source, transparency, and lots of stuff. Maybe smart contracts can rule the governments in the next voting, maybe.
With that, I think of that because for me it's rather annoying that I have to go to the different platforms and claim manually. Yeah. But what you said is true. Different jurisdictions, different rules. But wouldn't it be convenient to have a switch to say automatically either keep it in on the platform, on the protocol, or have a switch and say automatically pay out at that threshold, or just pay out whenever you can? I think that would be very convenient. And if apps would implement that, it would be such a key selling point, because when you look at all the others, other protocols or chains, you often have that. You just see the rewards coming in and it's growing and it's growing. You have that with ADA as well when you delegate, right? Just with our native tokens, we don't do that. And that's one of the big downsides that we have in the ecosystem currently. I have to be active to do that. And I get it. It's a transactional thing. The service provider would have to pay for the transaction, but maybe you could sign it beforehand, right? Sign. Oh no, you cannot because of the UTXO. But that's the issue that you will see with the multi-sig wallets. If you ever use one, you have the issue that you cannot sign now for one that is crossing over with another one, because then the UTXO output will have an issue. Yeah, but that would be convenient though. Or maybe an idea. If I as a user deposit 10 ADA or 20 ADA to the protocol as kind of a staking, then you as I have to lock it in, right? But then you as a service could say, I pay out every now and then, because then I have the ADA in my custodial wallet of the service provider locked in the smart contract, and then use it as a payout mechanism, right? So you don't, as a service, don't carry the risk. Just as an idea. I don't know, how do you think about that?
I think decentralization will solve that problem. And yeah, you can create smart contracts and you can lock funds inside. And when we have the full decentralization and we don't need servers anymore, and when we start working peer-to-peer purely, and this problem will be solved automatically.
Why is that?
You don't have to pay for service fees on the first hand for
But
the
then
servers. Yeah, for the
wouldn't
servers.
Cardano then die?
Sorry?
Like, I mean, wouldn't the treasury, wouldn't that die then if we don't have service fees?
No, I mean the services that is required to be paid on behalf of your application. So when we switch to the serverless systems, then we have the transaction fees and the service fees of that we have solely, and we don't have to pay anyone anymore, except our expenses and our income.
You mean as a, so I'm sorry, I'm slow today on that one. So as a user or as a product provider?
As a product provider.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, got you.
Yeah,
then
as a user, you should also pay service fees. But since there will be no intermediaries, you will pay less.
Yeah.
You know, we paid lots of money to service providers when we have the applications. If you have a good application that reaches 1 million people or something, you have to pay about maybe $10,000 or $20,000 per month to the service provider. So when we have the pure decentralization and we don't need servers anymore, so we will get rid of those fees also.
I don't generally mind having giants out there taking the risk. For me as a small, medium entity.
Yeah, this happens all the time. You know, technology removes the intermediaries. You know, we have lots of people that were taking advantage of to be an intermediate person. So with the technology, we will see more peer-to-peer communication and exchanges between people.
That's for sure. That's for sure.
This is going that way.
But I don't believe 100% in decentralization. I don't, to be honest. I'm very honest about that. I think there have to be big providers making sure that some things do work. It's the same with, especially when you talk about identity space. So far, we are always coming to the conclusions you need a few centralized exchange points because the user generally is lazy with the actions. They don't want to read all that technical things and learn everything. I understand that because it's not their thing, right? They just want the app to be running without setting any complicated things up. And if you're talking about pure centralization, I mean, that's like, I think that's millions years away.
I don't see it so far. You know the incident last time with the Microsoft and billions of dollars of loss about 2 weeks ago, and for a security reason. So those are centralized systems, and we have our products over those products, and you are binded to the system, and they can delete it. They can do anything they want in the centralized systems. We don't.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and we don't have any privacy in the centralized systems. They say we have privacy, but we don't. We don't believe. Maybe you know there are some HSM devices, hardware security modules for encryption in the banking systems. They say that you can never break those systems, right? Because they are regulated and they have some stuff. But it turns out that all those big companies can they decipher your crypto inside those devices. So those are the centralized systems. Whatever country you live, if the country is producing HSM devices, hardware security modules, then they have your keys. They say they say nobody can get your keys, but they know how to reverse engineer their devices. So this is something like that. We need pure decentralization because we don't trust on this. We don't trust these big companies anymore.
I would now play devil's advocate and say you have centralization on every project at first, right?
Yes.
Depending on where you start. And maybe these huge companies are just a few more steps further than we are before they're going into decentralization. We don't know every plans, whatever happens. I mean, this could be one part, right? What I have learned over time is if you ask the crowd, and there's a famous saying, if you ask the crowd, what is faster than a horse, then they would say 2 horses, right? And instead of a car, things like that. And if you propose them a train, then you will have scientists who say you cannot use that train with a speed over 29 kilometers per hour, which is I think 15 miles per hour, because otherwise your body will break, right? What speed do we use now? It's like incredibly faster. So I think some of these things that are being built in big companies and big tech, they are far more advanced than we would allow them to be. And we are always talking about privacy, maintaining privacy, but then again, we're happy enough to share our ADA handles around with showing what we have in our accounts, right? That is a very odd situation, I would say. And I'm okay with certain things in that regards of transparency, right? But here in Germany, we say we don't like to talk about the money that we have in our pockets.
Yeah.
We don't even talk about the wages that we earn. I know from my experience in the US, it was quite differently. We could say, hey, this is what I've been earning last week because my sales was so and so high. And then it would be raise the competition and be good for the business, right? We don't do that in Germany, not that much.
Yeah,
so
we also
the transparency that we have right now, with, for example, tools like Cerberus, I could say, okay, this is GEM's trace through the Cardano ecosystem, and now I know exactly how much money he's got in the ecosystem.
You can have multiple
Definitely not.
wallets, you know, Marcus. You can have multiple wallets. Yeah,
yes, but you can still trace them back, and you still can trace the entry points. And it's not what I want as a user to make sure that I have to use this centralized exchange as an entry point for that wallet and this centralized exchange as an entry point for that wallet, because that's from the back through the breast into the eye. It's just obfuscating, and everybody who's been working with code knows that obfuscation is not a security measure. It just lasts for so and so long. So that's just my point about it. I totally agree. We shouldn't put everything into one place, because if you have a manager having his login credentials tucked to the monitor, so he can log in at his computer, yeah, that's highly insecure. And then because some sucker just did not his job right, all of your things are lost. Yeah. But I don't think that 100% decentralization will work just for convenience. I just don't think it's gonna go there. But I would love to have that obviously, because it would be very, very cool. Just because for it being cool, I would love that. Just to have my life on my watch, for example, without and being able to choose. No, I don't want to be connected at that moment, and I want to reconnect with only that single data that I want to share with the community. Yeah, just my 2 cents that went to 58 on that. Sorry.
No, that's great. But Midnight's going to solve that security issue, though, correct?
Yeah.
So we'll be able to mask. Well, I guess, and correct me, you guys probably know this a little bit better than I do, but I believe we're going to be able to mask our wallets, things like that. But then if there's a court order or something like that, it can be opened back up to what it is now. And am I correct on that?
That's how I would understand it. But that's exactly the thing. You still have a centralized authority that is aiming for that.
Right. You know, I have to tend to agree with you. As much as I really I feel like I want 100% decentralization, it comes to like the voting in America, right? Everybody has the right to vote. I'm not so sure that's the right way to go forward anymore. You know what I mean? Like maybe we should have to take a test before we vote. And maybe it should be the same thing in decentralization, but there needs to be somebody competent,
I agree.
at least making sure that the decentralized community is doing. Next thing we know, it'll all be corrupt. It'll all be decentralized. Everybody's stuff will be everywhere, and nobody will be using a blockchain. So I have to agree with you on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. 2000 years ago, there was a man lived in this country, in the seaside, called Socrates. He also told, if you have democracy, you have to educate the voters. If the voters are not educated, then you have the systems like that as we have today.
Yeah, we are opening a very big hole here because there are also many politicians that doesn't want that because it's easier to drive people in your direction if people are not aware of how things are working. And but here in Italy, the situation is crazy now because most of the parties are just trying to train stadium ultras, football supporters more than voters. They are really trying to. It's like going to the stadium to watch a match for every election. The people that are fencing parties just because of ideas and then know nothing about the programs, what they want to achieve. So that's really not the ideal part of democracy. Yeah, probably everywhere. But yeah, there are points that can be improved in our democratic system for sure.
Yeah, and we have to be careful not to get political here because that's what we promise.
Yeah,
I promise.
Not taking it.
But I recommend if you're citizens by not becoming political, it's because it's highly fun watching House of Cards while the elections. It's incredible. That's what I think it was season 57, and I was like, wow. It's not season, it's chapter 57. That was funny. But hey, thank you so much. When you come to digital gold, what do you want people to do? Same obviously for Littlefish before we close it.
Well, Dale, we'd like for you to join us. We're a mom and pop project. We have a vision, and I think it's in line with the Cardano community, and we need your support to grow. I may be a little biased, but you know, this 3Eco project with its wonderful NFTs and a great community is just a great place to be. And so it's early. Come join us, be a part of our governance, help us grow in the right direction. And I think for right now, we just want to thank you guys for this opportunity. You're our first kind of coming out to a larger community, this type of AMA. And so we appreciate the opportunity for this have us, spend some time with you. So Dale, with that, over to you, buddy.
We really appreciate having you here. Really, it's fun. It's nice. It's nice to know about all the projects. And Dale, you're trying to say something, but you were muted.
Yeah, I just got it fixed. I didn't want to turn off there. It was great, man. I enjoyed this. It was a pleasure meeting everybody on the call. Marcus, thanks for having us. And feel free, anybody on here want to reach out. We're looking to, like I said, we're trying to network with all the big brains in the community because that's where we want to be. So feel free to reach out to me or Reggie and anybody else who sees the video, digitalgoldecosystem.com.
Was very nice. Thank you again for your support and for being here and for having told us about your projects. We are really enjoying this kind of conversation, and maybe we can have you again soon in another opportunity. If you have a new project, new ideas, you want to start something, tell us about something new. We are always available to listen to you guys. Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And good luck for the project.
To everybody.
Thank you, guys. Everybody have a great day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Oh,
Thank
Marcus.
you. Thank you. Sorry, I had an emergency here.
No worry.
Let me...
Marcus, thanks for having us. We'll see you later, buddy.
Yeah, and rejoin to another one. That was really, really great. Feel always invited. Apologies to Reggie. I'm really, I didn't want to be impolite. Sorry.
Oh, no worries.
Okay.
Everything's cool, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
You.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank
Bye.
you.